Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Here on Global Morning. As always, it's with so much delight to say welcome to the show. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe, and the lady who has for the second day in a row been here, something that hasn't happened.
Second day in a row, I think third day in a row.
Well, the first was Tuesday, so 2 days in a row, 2 consecutive days.
Okay.
Right. Priscilla Obasi, so good to see you on the program.
Absolutely, it's such a delight as always to be in your faces. Good morning, Uyi.
Right, so let's begin the Friday talking about big issues today. Yesterday was quite big because one of the biggest events, even though we have two actually, was that Professor George Amukpito has now been formally inaugurated by President Bola Tinubu as the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. It's been a while coming, but there are people who believe that this was quite fairly a fast process between when he was nominated, of course, his name and profile submitted to the Council of States when he went to the Senate for his screening, and now that he has been inaugurated, it was quite, it didn't take much of time. But all of that is behind us now. What matters going forward is what kind of leadership he would provide, and the man has been very clear about that. He has said that, look, first of all, there has to be some sort of house cleaning, right? It has to audit what happened in 2023, at least some very essential parts or aspects of it. And he has also talked about how that reforms must be pursued vigorously because INEC is one very pivotal institution of government. So the agency, if you like, of government that determines how those who will lead across board are not only selected, but the process that produces them is also properly coordinated and midwifed. I'm sure you have also taken out time as a journalist to reflect on what this particular event means for Nigeria.
Well, the issue of Amukpito has been ongoing. His, inauguration, the process of his coming to lead in the, INEC space.
Right.
It has been an ongoing conversation, and all eyes actually right now are pointing towards the Anambra elections that will be coming up soon.
Right.
As they say, it will be a litmus test, to to see what he will do. And I like the fact that he has started, you know, he started on a good note. He started by saying, okay, we need this, we need that, the good, trying to restructure, trying to clean the house like, you know, you just said now. So we're hopeful. We are hopeful. We cannot really say, there's not so much we can say right now until we see, you know, his actions.
Right.
First, in the Anambra elections that is coming up.
On the 8th of next month.
On the 8th of next month. And at that point, we will be able to give our verdict. But we're hopeful.
Right.
We're quite optimistic that it will get better. Yes, I am hopeful that the situation in the INEC and all that concerns it will be better.
That's the patriotic Priscilla right there for you. But you know, on the lighter note, I was looking at the volume of books that Madam May Agwamuche handed over to him. Yeah, I was just asking myself on a very jovial note, how long will it take him to read up all of those?
Well, he has been in Nigeria.
But then I also realized that we're looking at a man who is not just a professor of law, but he has also been an astute administrator within the academic space. And like you also pointed out, he has been in Nigeria the whole time, so he has followed the process, maybe a little more than the rest of us and things like that. So I'm not so sure that looking at those notes will be much of an issue for him. Right from the time he stood in front of senators on the floor of the rec chambers just a matter of days ago, I saw a man. Of course, they say you don't judge a book by the cover, all right? But what I did see was a man who already understood the assignment, right? A man who knew right from the ground up what the challenge will be, and is not hazy as to what kind of strategy he should bring to bear in that regard.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. But we also continue to look at what's happening with the continuous voter registration exercise, the CVR. That's very important too, because elections are about people.
I heard it has been halted.
You know, at the point we're hearing that, the commission was considering extending it, because that's also been an ongoing conversation. Why do we have to say for 2 months we're doing CVR, continuous voter registration? Why do we have to say for the next 90 days? Is it not possible to make it a working process?
Yeah.
What is the reason INEC is advancing for creating a time window for it? For example, if Priscilla's international passport, driver's license, or national ID card were to expire, what do? You go back to the relevant agency and you request a renewal, or in the case of loss or something, you request a replacement. I think that's what happens. So the Nigerian Immigration Service, for example, is not going to tell Priscilla Obasi that, look, we are not issuing passports again until August of 2026. No. What happens is, the first thing is, has your passport expired? Have you ever been issued a passport? Or did you misplace your passport? So the idea is a working process and is a rolling system. So can we also make voter registration exercise a rolling system?
Well, of course it's possible. I don't think they have the capacity yet. What I heard, I actually called one of the INEC staff to find out because I wanted to update my PVC, and they said that in respect to the local government elections coming up early next year, they're trying to clean the system. Maybe they don't have the capacity to, because I know they're going to be using beavers. I don't know if they use the beavers for by-elections.
For by-elections?
I don't know if they do.
Well, beavers has been neither here nor there, because INEC at some point, in light of the litany of litigations, has also argued that the law does not mandate the commission to use the beaver. So, and then of course the RF. So it's still quite some sort of hazy element.
The by-elections that has happened in states, that just had their elections, right? The beavers and I reviews. That's the question. So I feel like maybe they don't have the capacity
to deploy,
not just to deploy, to handle both CVR, because all of this you use the database, you use the network.
So you don't have enough resources?
Yes, maybe I don't know. They have not been able to crack it. That's what I just perceived. Because why would you put the PVC or the INEC registration or PVC registration on hold because of a by-election?
Because you want to conduct
elections. To me, it doesn't make sense, but I'm sure they would have their...
And again, the emphasis is by-election. It's not as if it's a general cycle.
It's not just, it's not just the by-election. It's the local government election. We call it by-election.
Which again is it's not a national electoral exercise. Right?
I agree. So maybe we need more clarification.
Right.
From, INEC.
In the meantime, it appears this is suggestive of a limitation somewhere on the part of INEC. And you see, again, this is why the emphasis is always on transparency. Nigerians would want to see INEC do well.
Yes.
Nigerians would want to see INEC succeed and do better, right? But then again, Nigerians also, by all means, must understand what exactly INEC is dealing with.
Yes.
What are the challenges?
Yes.
All right, so they understand when INEC is constrained at any point in time, it becomes clear the reason there is that constraint in the first instance.
And even to see if Nigerians can provide solutions. Because this problem, for all I know, might have a solution out there. A Nigerian can come out and say, no.
From amongst the regular
Nigerians.
Right.
We have tech guys there in the system. They can just come up with solutions.
Propose an idea.
Exactly. So there should be transparency, like you have rightly said. There should be transparency. Whenever there is an agency or say whatever authority has a limitation, come out there and say it. If you don't have the solution, somebody out there can have a solution. Cry for solution, and Nigerians, we're capable. Yeah, I believe so. We are.
All right. Well, don't cry out a river. We just need to continue to make some very decent noise about issues regarding our electoral process in this country. And now that we have a new chairman for the Independent National Electoral Commission here at Global Television, we're wishing him all the best. And as a media outfit, we'll continue to do our part as well. Let's take a quick break. Don't forget that the big conversation today on the show has to do with the elections, the electoral process in Nigeria, and exactly what the challenges and prospects are. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, let's pivot away from election matters and the administration for a second and look at some of the things that have happened this week. Most recently, just yesterday, Thursday, the 23rd of October 2025, we understand that the publisher of online paper, Sahara Reporter, Samuel Shawore, who also was a presidential candidate of the AAC in the 2023 election, got arrested yesterday at the Federal High Court. Of course, he had come to show solidarity with the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, Nnamdi Kanu is a different kettle of fish yes, in this whole narrative. But Shawore has been arrested now, and the government, the police say that it is on account of the fact that he had protested in an area that had been designated as a no protest zone, so to speak. On account of a court order. Even though some people say that they never saw that court order, that it was never even served on the leaders or the organizers of the protest, and things like that. But now he has been arrested, and the police authorities say he will be charged in court as soon as possible. Let's keep an eye out and see how soon that happens. Of course, we're sure Shawore will also be legally represented. In any case, his lawyer, talking about Nibehe Effiong, has already spoken out about some of these issues, but it's not just about public opinion now. Once it becomes a matter of subject of litigation, it has to be that both parties will argue their case out in front of the judge and all of that. But the thing is that protests and protesting have been very, very controversial in Nigeria in recent years, because we keep seeing cases where people want to protest, the government goes to court, or the government comes and says we have a court order banning this protest altogether. Nobody should protest anywhere in the country, or you can't protest in Abuja, or even if you can protest in Abuja, you can't protest in the 3 zone, you can't protest around this place, that place, Federal High Court, Police Force Headquarters, and what have you. It now begins to raise concerns around what happens to people's rights, their inalienable rights, their inherent rights to vent their concerns around issues that affect them directly without resorting or recourse to violence or rancor and chaos and all of that. But the case of Sowore has become a bit classical, given the fact that he has now become the icon of protest in Nigeria.
Well, I don't know why our leaders are doing this, really, because if you check the leaders we have now, most of them were part of protest at some point in time, when the government, including the current president, at some point when the government did not favor them. So how do you climb, sit on that power and now try to restrict a process that you once participated in? I mean, what do you call that? It doesn't make any sense. And then I understand that the issues around, the protest that happened that day, that's Monday, right? Was, a bit controversial, being that it wasn't called for, like they said, or the government, are proposing. It wasn't called for because the matter is in court. There's no need to take the laws into your hands. Allow the courts to, do its due process, to carry out the due process, and then we see whatever judgment is being given. But then we cannot take away the fact that it is a right, a constitutional right of a citizen to come out and vent. It was a peaceful protest, as they called it. So there's a controversy, there's still a lot, around that whole topic. And the fact that Sowore has been arrested on that grounds is still cause for serious concern, because I used to think that his lawyer was Deji. His most recent lawyer is Deji Adeoju. I don't know but I've seen Deji come out to make some, defensive statements for Sowore. In favor of Sowore. Of Sowore. So I really don't know his lawyer at this point. I don't know if he is representing him. Well,
news this morning is referring to Barrister Enibehe of Effiong. I hope I'm pronouncing his first name well. All right, himself an activist of some sort. All right, as Showore's lawyer now. Deji has also been his lawyer at some point, but a few days ago, Deji did say, at least on social media, that any protest where you don't have demonstrators numbering at least 1 million, he's not interested, because according to him, people will goad you into starting a protest. People will tell you, we move, we're going to be there with you, we're in this together, and all whatnot. By the time when it's time for the protest proper, you are going to see a handful of people. So I think Deji, as an individual, as a Nigerian, as a lawyer as well, and an activist of very long standing, is also now rethinking his method, his approach towards protest. But as for Sowore, I don't think this is something new to him, because I was looking at the timeline of him just between last night and this morning, of how that he had been in protests, so this business of protest since 1992 thereabouts. So it's something he has done for well over 3 decades, right from his days as an undergraduate at the University of Lagos. So today, what has only happened is that the narrative has changed drastically. Of course, we're seeing the evolution of democracy or governance in Nigeria. We've seen the country move from civil rule to military, back to civil rule. Now there's the Fourth Republic and all that. But in all, no matter what happens, no matter how this turns out to be, in the event that it is eventually charged in court, those in leadership must ask themselves, what are the issues Sowore is advancing? What exactly does he want? What is it trying with all of these protests to draw government's attention to? And how can governments at all levels do their part to ensure that these issues are addressed? And for those who also say that whatever Sowore is doing is self-serving, I think it also places a demand on Sowore himself to ask, what exactly is the motivation for my action? Is it really self-serving, or am I just being altruistic and people-centered enough to want to put my life out there? Because whether you like it or not, every time you protest under circumstances such as we have in our country today, you're putting your life potentially on the line. Anything can happen. And God forbid, a million times something untoward happens, we all move.
They say, all die and I die. That's what they say.
Not everybody's ready to die. Even those who say that are not ready to die.
Are not ready to die, right?
Right. And then that brings us to the issue of the man at the center of it all, so to speak, talking about Nnamdi Kanu, who has been in detention for quite a while now. Nnamdi Kanu's case has essentially started since 2019. We have seen different judges hear his matter. We have seen him change lawyers time and again. Just yesterday, the man has said that, look, I'm no longer needing legal representation, right? So I want to represent myself. Even when the judge, Honorable Justice Omotosho, had made an offer to him to say, look, who can get you a lawyer? The man says, no, I want to represent myself. And in practical terms, he had started representing himself yesterday. And all else equal, he wants it to stay that way. And we've also seen a list of very notable Nigerians that he has earmarked to be subpoenaed. Some of them he calls, ordinary witnesses or something. Others, he says, they are compellable, vital witnesses. So let's see what the court will do in terms of those that need to be compelled by way of a subpoena, and then let's see how they're going to come to his defense. And I think he has his own reasons for bringing them apparently, and that is at the center of his own defense strategy.
Well, it's such a strategy, quite unique. I don't think Nigeria has seen this before. But then we understand the fact that, you know, his lawyer right now has been arrested, and I think it's on that basis.
That's Barrister Aloy Ejimakor.
Yes, because it is not, you cannot just bring a new lawyer to start representing you.
Right. I mean, who doesn't understand the history of the case?
If you're bringing a lawyer to represent, you have to start briefing, and something might just go wrong.
Right.
You get
a bad situation might become worse.
Exactly. So I think at this point, the best decision for him that he has seen is to represent himself, because he is well known. He knows, the history. He's well informed about the case, and he will do justice. He needs to be guided, of course. I saw him reading from a paper, and all of that. I feel that he's a smart man, he's an intelligent man. Let's see how this plays out. Well, I'm quite interested in this case. I'm really interested because I've never seen this play out before.
Well, we hope the case runs real fast and smooth as well, because now that he wants to defend himself, which has been a long time coming by anyway, because the court has insisted that you can stand trial, open your defense, since prosecution has also presented its own facts before the court. Well, let's take a break, everyone. We'll continue to monitor this situation for you here on Global Television. When we return, we'll talk a little more, and then it'll be time to bring you the newspaper headlines.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, thank you very much for still being here with us. Right now we go to the paper review segment, and we're starting with the very first paper here, which is Standard Times, Nigeria. The first story, top left corner, Tinubu swears in Professor Amopiton as new INEC chairman, charges him to uphold electoral integrity. That detail is on page 2. Next, EFCC recovers 566 billion naira, $411 million, 1,502 properties in 2 years, and that's coming from Olukoyede, that's the EFCC chairman. You want to find out that detail on page 3. It has a rider there, as lawmakers move to limit president's power over EFCC chairman's removal. Okay, that's an interesting one. Fire raises over 500 shops in Kano. Sad one. That detail is on page 3. Troops kill over 50 terrorists for multiple attacks in Borno, Yobe. Still a sad one. You find a detail on page 4. IRS arrests street urchins harassing motorists in Lagos. And that detail is on page 3. We want to see that happen in Abuja too, because we have a lot of this, what do they call them? Agbero, harassing motorists over here. Zenith Bank reaffirms support for Africa's climate change summit. That detail is on page 3. Why we arrested Showore, and that is coming from the police. You find that detail on page 2. Alleged 320 million naira NDDC fraud. Court adjourns Mutu's case to December 8 for adoption of written addresses. That detail is on page 2. And finally, we have Nnamdi Kanu sacks legal team, defends self in court. That detail is on page 3. You want to read up all of those details to get yourself, informed with the Standard Times Nigeria paper. Now we go to the Punch newspaper, and Uyi takes us through that.
All right, thank you, Priscilla. On the Punch newspaper now, top left corner of it, it says, wealth means nothing without a good name. Kensington Adebutu is the one to whom is credited. That interesting story you would find on pages 24 and 25. All right. Medical tourism spending falls 52% under Tinubu. Medical tourism spending falls 52% under Tinubu. That's according to a CBN report, clearly indicating that medical tourism has reduced drastically. All right. What's more, I just sent the nameplate here with a picture of former President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. The kicker is 2027. Jonathan faces mounting pressure to drop presidential bid. Now, why does he have to drop it? And then the question on the other side is, why does he want to run, or why do people expect him to run? The man has not come out to say he wants to run. So whatever you're hearing now is from, the grapevine, as we say. We have not heard the former president categorically say he's interested in standing for re-election in 2027.
Well, even if he wants to, he has the right to. So.
And nobody's fighting that. Yeah, but why are we even having the conversation around whether he should run or not run?
We are rumors entered in this country. Our ears are itchy. We always want to know, what's happening. And of course, there has been rumors here and there. So, but then, do not conclude until you hear from the source. Right. I think that's what we say.
All right, let's move to the star headline. It says, Tinubu to Amukito, make 2027 polls transparent, violence-free. Quite a straightforward directive there. New INEC boss steps in, vows to restore voters' confidence. Tinubu advises on reforms. Quite frankly, that's where we should be heading now. Then bottom right, it says, Anambra poll, INEC team arrives for mock accreditation. Assailants shoots shawarma vendor dead in Lagos. Quite a tragic piece of story there. Assailants shoot shawarma vendor dead in Lagos on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper today. And finally, federal government launches nationwide crackdown on oil, gold, small glass. Those details await you on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Be sure to read up details for yourself as we move on to the first daily newspaper now.
Okay, on the first daily newspaper, the first story besides the nameplates, we have Anambra decides. INEC urges voters to make their voices heard ahead November 8 poll. Okay, dear voters in Anambra, to the big story. Tinubu to new INEC chair. Nigerians won't forgive flawed elections. Of course. I don't know why this is funny, but it is. President wants Amupiton to serve with integrity as Anambra poll looms. Okay, to the next story. Mazdi, you will be out. Showore tells Nnamdi Kanu in court appearance. That is quite audacious. Of course, if he is, declared innocent by the court, he should be out. Reps move to create Ijebu State as bill scales second reading. Ijebu State would be carved out of which state? That will
be from Ogun, apparently.
Ogun,
yes.
Right?
But I think a couple of regions have also been clamoring for more states. The East, for example. In fact, the argument in the case of the East is not only peculiar, it's very vehement, even from people who are not from the Southeast. They are saying that the least you can do for the Southeast is ensure that the region has at least 6 states. So you have one more state added to that region. But again, these are all parliamentary issues. They are not things we and Priscilla can sit here on Global Morning.
But this has killed the second reading. So
so you think there's some light at the end of the tunnel?
Of course.
All right, so we keep our fingers crossed and see how long this tunnel will be.
Yeah, so let's go to the next. Court okays Kanu bid to summon Wike, Buratai, Danjuma, Uzodinma as witnesses. Okay. Interesting times ahead. Troops kill over 50 terrorists in Borno, Yobe. Military reports fresh sites. EFCC recovers 566 billion naira, $411 million, 1,502 properties under Olukoyede's leadership. Federal government, Islamic Bank deepens partnership on strategic road project nationwide. And finally, we have a kicker with reports. 4.25 million Nigerians struggling with vision loss. Is it the physical vision or the vision of life?
I think it's the optical, right? Something that has to do, obviously, with their eyes, right?
Okay.
And that's quite concerning, really.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I think we're moving to the Nation newspaper now. That should be our next port of call here. We'll begin with the star headline on the Nation newspaper. Transparency, credibility, integrity must define elections, says Tinubu. Apparently, that was in the course of swearing in the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission yesterday. There is one rider accompanying the headline. It says, Amupito Anambra poll will demonstrate INEC's high standard. All right. Kanu sacks 5 SANs, others. IPOB leader insists on self-representation, which already has started yesterday. All right. Top right corner of the Nation newspaper. Ayedatiwa in Akungba, Akoko after truck crash kills 8. And yesterday the governor said that incident is unfortunate and avoidable. First Lady inaugurates digital learning centers in 10 states. EFCC backs student loan, consumer credit with 100 billion naira. How exactly is the commission funneling that fund? You can find out on page 3 of today's issue of the Nation newspaper. Consensus chair bid, PDP splits over ex-minister Turaki. Well, we understand that the leadership of the People's Democratic Party in the North has unanimously agreed that former Minister Taminu Turaki will be its consensus candidates. All right. However, it says anybody who wants to oppose that can come challenged him during the convention. But again, this development has split the party, we're hearing. All right, let's take 2 more headlines and then we're done. UK court dismisses PNID's case on Kurst. So again, Nigeria wins. SDP expels national chair, Gaban others. Police arrest Showore in Abuja. That story has its details on page 45. All right, read up all of these details on the Nation newspaper today. Let's flip things over now to the Daily Independent.
Okay, on the Daily Independent, we have the very first story of the nameplate. Okowa still on the corruption probe, despite joining APC. That is coming from the EFCC. So that is saying that it doesn't matter where you port to, EFCC will come for you. Well, right. Let's see how that plays out. Court orders INEC to prosecute minister over alleged forgery of poll results. That detail is on page 6. Now to the Star story. Tinubu to Amopiton. Anambra global elections, your litmus test. There are 3 riders to that story. The first one asks him to protect integrity of electoral process. New INEC chair assumes duty, says appointment divide. Vows integrity of country's electoral process, not negotiable. Okay. Nnamdi Kanu defends self in court, sacks legal representatives. That detail is on page 7. Lines up Wike, Danjuma, Uzodinma, others as witnesses. I really cannot wait for all of this to unfold.
Right.
MTN, I am particular about Wiki. I just want to see what he says, in the whole kind of case.
And the event that is, it's not the first time we're seeing something like this. Former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasoke retired, who of course was the National Security Advisor under former President Goodluck Jonathan, had a long drawn-out case. All right. At some point, he had to tell the court that he wanted a few persons, notable amongst them, former President Jonathan, to be subpoenaed to come to court and give witness. We never saw that happen. The former president, on his own part, gave conditions to appear in court. But again, that appears to be something that has become history now. Yeah. But like you said, let's see how this plays out in the days and weeks ahead. He has asked for a 90-day window from the court to allow him to do all of these. But who knows what counter, if you like, motion that these gentlemen are also going to bring forward. Exactly,
that is my curiosity. Let's go to the next story. MTN, Airtel, others move to bring $30 smartphone to Africa consumers. Interesting. You find that detail on page 6. At least those that are clamoring for iPhone 7, iPhone will rest. We have the first is smartphone coming. Okay, reps propose rent increase must not exceed. I saw the story yesterday and I was elated. Reps propose rent increase must not exceed 20% of existing rent. That details on page 7, and I'm happy because my landlord just brought a notice to increase rent with over 100% increase. They doubled this thing, doubled it. So I was so excited and I was going to screenshot it and send it to him.
Well, your landlord might be smiling hearing this because he understands that this is only a proposal at this point.
Well, I'm sure he wants to take fast action before it's sealed. All right. But I mean, that cannot happen.
It's very, very disturbing.
Very. Okay. IRO's claim of forgery baseless, misleading. And that is coming from PDP bot. That's
the board of trustees of the PDP.
Okay. That detail is on page 6. NEC okays Tinubu's plan to rejig security agencies training institution. There are 2 riders to that. Raises committee to oversee overhaul of training facilities. Asks governors to impact lives at grassroots level. And finally, we have ritual killings, human trafficking on the rise. And that is coming from Lagos government and others. You find that detail on page 6. Read up details to get yourself informed. Let's go to the next paper, which is the Nigerian News Direct.
All right, so we're going to look at our last paper, incidentally, now, which is, again, Nigerian News Direct, like Priscilla said. One with a picture of Edo State Governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo here. It says, why I inaugurated new judges upon resumption. Nnamdi Kanu sacks lawyers, elects to represent himself. Amopito, I will ensure credible, fair elections. Yes, Nigerians are waiting to see what happens in that regard. What more do we have? It says, Ibadan-Ife Expressway, federal government terminates contract, reawards road to CBC Global for concrete reconstruction. Minister NLNG MD elected as president, Sec General of Gas Forum. That's quite interesting. NEC raises alarm over illegal mining, thefts of gold. That's National Economic Council, which is led by the Vice President, is raising alarm over illegal mining, theft of goods. This is not something new, really, but is there a new dimension to it? Well, let's see what action will be taken going forward. And the last headline from the Nigerian News Direct this morning, high interest rates, policy instability, crippling Nigerian manufacturing. That is credited to the chairman of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. It appears time will allow us to take one more. That will be the Daily Monitor. Let's go ahead and look at the Daily Monitor.
Okay, so the Daily Monitor has the first story as INEC, Amopiton assumes duty, pledges to uphold electoral integrity. That detail is on page 4. Over 50 terrorists neutralized, to wounded in severe battle with troops in Borno and Yobe. You find that detail on page 4. Revoke lands, no longer federal property. Oyo tells federal government, and that detail is on page 4. IMF reports Nigeria exclusion should serve as a wake-up call for our leaders. That's coming from Peter Obi. To the big story, Shettima to governors. Improve citizens' life rather than rhetorics. There are 3 riders to that. The first one says, measure of government not in speeches delivered, but in lives improved. NEC says Nigeria's solid minerals being illegally mined, stolen, raises probe panel. Sets up committee to overhaul, revamp security training institutions nationwide. And finally, we have EFCC recovers 566 billion naira, $411 million, 1,502 assets in 2 years. Vows to prosecute corrupt politicians without bias. That detail is right there on the Daily Monitor. You want to read up for, more information. And can we take one more?
All right, so I'm sure, well, that's where we're going to leave it, so we can kick the first conversation on the show this morning. But quite interesting to learn that the issue of illegal mining and theft of Nigerian gold has become quite disturbing. But again, maybe we can find consolation in now realizing that the National Economic Council is moving to say it's high time we dealt with this once and for all. Because whether you like it or not, just the same way we have the crude as a very major source of income for Nigeria, we have minerals, all right? We have precious stones and what have you. What exactly are we realizing from those? Are we just having a bunch of people in the name of a cabal, like the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, said last year to senators that there are powerful Nigerians, those were his exact words, there are powerful Nigerians who are driving illegal mining, of course, by extension, banditry. So the question is, if we know so much to realize that there are powerful Nigerians, what efforts is government making to ensure that these powerful Nigerians are held accountable? People are dying every day on account of banditry, and nobody is compensating those families. Nobody is asking what exactly can be done to end it. But we are saying that there are powerful Nigerians who are responsible for all this. But government is supposed to be responsible for dealing with those who are responsible for the avoidable suffering that we subject our people to most times. Well, let's take a break now. When we return, We'll start talking about the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission and what his leadership will mean for INEC going forward. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, time to get our first conversation on the road this morning for you, everyone. When you talk about Nigeria's democracy, particularly in light of our return to this Fourth Republic in 1999, one of the first institutions that would come to mind is the Independent National Electoral Commission. Since 1999, every electoral cycle, whether general election or the all-grid elections, have been reviewed and one way or another criticized in light of INEC's performance during these exercises. For many people, the 2023 general election is such that many issues that emerge from that exercise today still form basis for debates, whether within political parties or amongst Nigerians who are largely the electorate. Now, with new leadership in place at the commission, the question is, what are the challenges that must be tackled as quickly as possible going forward? And what are the prospects for INEC to reinvent itself as the umpire and give Nigerians a chance to trust and repose confidence in the commission once again? To help find sense in this conversation, we're joined virtually from Ekboma in Edo State by Dr. Jude Obasomi. He is the Chief Responsibility Officer of Jose Escrivá Foundation. Dr. Obasomi, I'd like to say a big thank you to you this morning for joining us on Global Morning.
All right, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, wherever you are hearing my voice. Good morning to you. It's good to be with you this time around. I
appreciate that. So let's begin. First of all, of course, we just saw a transition at INEC. Professor Mahmood Yakubu has stepped down. Now we have another professor, but this time a professor of law who has just barely 24 hours ago been inaugurated as the chairman of the commission. What are your concerns? What are your expectations?
All right, and thank you very much. First of all, let me join other Nigerians who believe in the Nigerian project to congratulate Prof for his recent appointment and join others too to wish him well. Just the way we also wish the former INEC chairman well, we also wish him well. I want to begin by just looking at some of his statements before and after his inauguration. It's on record that he made a comment that the integrity of our election is non-negotiable. So you understand where we are coming from. And during his confirmation hearing in the House, he said, I'm going to pledge to prioritize amendments in the electoral laws of the land. And also, I heard him on TV yesterday, and I said, INEC preparations will leave no room for compromise. And finally, he said, we gladden the hearts of young persons. He said, his mission is to restore the confidence of every voter. Let's not forget, the high level of voter party is on the increase. So if I'm trying to console myself by these open remarks of the current INEC chairman, this one will say, yes, let's give him room to do it best. But there are, what I may call emerging issues that he must begin to understand and begin to see how he can make a difference. I always say this, Nigerians are not demanding too much from our leaders. Do a little and we'll support you. But it's quite sad that despite the fact that Nigerians are prepared to render the required support to make the sacrifices, you are not getting corresponding reward, so to say, for what that you have done. One of the fundamental issues that you need to look at that to do with this issue of restoring electoral credibility and trust. Most Nigerians, with due respect, have lost confidence in the process. What is currently thriving now in terms of decamping, recamping, and decamping shows that, man, if you are able to get the nomination ticket of a particular party, particularly ruling party in Nigeria, you can go to your bed and just sleep. No need for you to go ahead to talk about campaigning or talk to people to come and vote for you. That's a new trend that just emerging, before this 2027 election. And in terms of trust, people are now concerned that why is it that politicians don't do the needful? Rather, over 500,000 persons will vote for a particular person. At the end of it, everything goes into litigation. And instead of, with due respect to them, we just in their comfort zone. Less than 6 or 9 persons decided the fate of over 500 persons that went ahead to vote for this person. That is unacceptable. So for some of them just feel that, no, conserve your fund and we meet in court. Don't forget there was this particular slang that came at the time, we meet in court. I think we should begin to deviate from that, because now people have no confidence that whatever happens, at the end of the day we'll get to court. However, the courts too are not also helping matters. Another issue that they should look at has to do with this issue of leveraging. I really tell leveraging because even though Yakubu had his own shortcoming, to an extent too, he tried in the area of bringing in technology. He has to leverage on how he can improve technology to help him in getting better results. Not a case whereby they will be telling us that the system, there was a group of people had the system, or the system is not working in some areas. When he's able to put in place a good infrastructure in terms of technology that can address logistic challenge. It's on record. Maybe few hours to an election, materials are yet to get to the rack centers. And this is unacceptable based on what technology has been able to do in other countries. Nigeria is not different from that, just that we are not prepared to attend to that. And that fundamental thing you have to look at to do with this increasing rate of voters' apathy and participation in the process. Young persons especially have no confidence based on what happened in 2023. They don't feel that nobody thinks about us, nobody cares about us. Even when they had the bill of the act that was passed that not too young to run. That be passed, but you can see the young persons are prepared to run, but the track for them to run is not there. By the time you now make what's it called now? Nomination forms so high that even somebody who is qualified cannot even afford to buy nomination form. That's another major challenge. Then one thing you have to look at too has to do with this issue of the so-called maintaining the independence of of INEC. How independent are they? For me, many times they rely on what the presidency says. In terms of deployment of resources, in terms of appointment of commissioners, in terms of appointment of resident electoral commissioners. This is not how it should be. So that's one of the things you have to seriously look at. Then another issue I would love you to look at has to do with public communication, transparency, and media engagement. It's on record that the last, my friend, the former INEC chairman, was more or less reactive. It was not proactive at all in terms of engaging the civil society or engaging the public at different levels. It's only when there are a lot of suspicion about the processes that you see the commission coming out to explain to Nigeria. But rather, it's nice for him, based on the background that's coming from, to say he can regularly update Nigerians as per what he is doing. But in the case whereby you allow things to go so low, to collapse, and now begin to say how you can correct it, is very sad and fateful and very, very unfortunate. What Nigerians are also expecting from us to do with that, it can start with the Anambra election. That if it has much control about the structure, because I now go to over 80%. So to do the procurement for the Anambra election must have been concluded. Let's see how it can start from there. I'm not expecting anything too different from the Anambra election, because it might give us an excuse that, sorry, I just came on board less than a month or 2 months to the election, so I could not actually put in place my ideas and thoughts and plans for the Anambra election. But however, we have 2027 that is just around the corner. People want to see it by we have free, fair, credible, and conclusive election, whereby people go to the polling unit to define, I'm going there to go and cast my vote. Nobody is going to seduce me to say, fine, I'm going to buy your vote from you, or I'm going to be harassed or killed at the police center. You have to begin to think of something like that. And however, let's not forget the timely release of our results, which is part of the reform that they must look at now, is very critical. In a case whereby the higher rate will be giving a result, then the polling will give something different, and the INEC personnel who are appointed by law to give things that are different should not work at, should not be obtainable at all going forward. If you try to say how bad it can effectively ensure that there's timely release of results that are correct, that actually reflect what is on the ground at the polling unit. But many times now, we have been seeing a lot of discrepancies coming up from the polling unit to the ward coalition level to the LGA and what have you. Things like that is not expected at all. But I believe that going forward for him, we are expecting that he should make visible improvements. Let us leave this so-called of paper. We have deployed 1,000 machines. We have deployed 1 million staff. When I go to the field, you will not see the adult personnel doing their work. You will not see the policemen doing their work. But I want to tell him that Nigerians are expecting much from him, and he should try as much as possible to do the needful. Let him also consider the issue of diaspora voting, issue of alignment security officers too, who have before now been disenfranchised from voting to also take part. In fact, the guy has a catalog of a lot of activities and action that he needs to take as quickly as possible before the 2027 elections.
I want to ask you this, Dr. Obasami. Why is this such a challenge to address this issue of diaspora voting? We've seen 1 or 2 African countries make the move to want to adopt that, even within the West African sub-region, for example. Why is Nigeria not toeing that path already? Is it such a demanding exercise to at least experiment with?
Okay, thank you very much. You know, the way we practice democracy, the way institutions run in Nigeria is dependent on the function of who leads the process. Recall in 2015, as this, as a member of the Nigeria Society Situation Group, where I currently serve at the South Rep, there were marked improvements. And for some of us on the field that who monitor the process before, during, and after the election, we believe that things will go on well. But after 2015, we started, there was, a drastic downwards, in terms of how we could consolidate on our gains. Let's not forget, last year, I think it was last year, and the INEC chairman and many others had, observed the other elections in neighboring countries. Canada was even celebrated. Some of them were there. A member of our student also took part. They observed that he gave room to different individuals to come to vote. What is the issue with diaspora voting? It's just that in Nigeria we have not been able to have how will I put it now, an updated database of Nigerians. We don't have it. If you go to the embassies abroad, have a privilege to travel, you go there, find out what is the database of Nigeria. We don't have it. So for me, I believe that what we need to do is for INEC to study, look at best practices and see how Nigerians in diaspora can also take part. But let's not forget, they also contribute to the GDP of the country.
Right.
They bring in their remittances coming in. So they should be part and parcel of the decision that happens in Nigeria, particularly in the area of selecting or of voting somebody who will come and lead the process. So for me, I don't see as a challenge, but I just believe that there's a real need for them to amend the Constitution and the Electoral Act to allow them to vote beginning from the forthcoming election. There's no problem at all. Just that the leadership may not feel too comfortable. How are you going to continue? Let's not forget, these guys in diaspora, there's no amount of naira or you want to give them pounded yam or rice or wrapper or whatever that can convince them. These are people that are to an extent now know what is good for our country, and nobody can go there to go and say let us go to influence their voting pattern. They are conscious. Even what happens in Nigeria at times, those of us in Nigeria are unable to get to know about them. But those in diaspora, our brothers and sisters, they are the ones that normally inform us and look at what is happening in the country. So I believe that there's nothing wrong in it. It's just the commitment or the will, the political will of those expected to take charge to do the needful. And if that is done, I can tell you, it will be very nice and good. But however, like somebody said in the fora we had, we are talking about diaspora, but whether the one we do here physically in an analog style, so to say, they are able to get results. Even now, when you now begin to go to diaspora, by then they will tell that they're having funny issues. So Nigeria, the way our leaders lead us now, for some of us, they just feel that Nigeria can no longer cry, Nigeria can no longer complain. If we can use our phones to call, we get feedback. We can WhatsApp, like what we are doing now, you get feedback. You can carry your ATM card and go to a polling to the POS machine or an ATM machine, and you punch in your password and you get result. Why can't we do it? You can see that, like I said before, our database is very, very faulty. Even the voters register in Nigeria is not updated. That's why I tell you, say that we have millions of Nigerians who have been registered and very popular factor, very significant coming out to vote. The registers have not been cleaned. So you can see that we have a major change that has to do with the way we manage our data. In Nigeria, we do not have a strong database that can, to an extent, guarantee moving forward, getting this diaspora person to come and vote. But there's nothing wrong in not experimenting carefully to see how that can be incorporated. But in doing that, let's try to see how we can clean our home with the off-cycle elections coming up as a build-up to the 2027 elections.
I'd like to ask your opinion about continuous voter registration, CVR. There are people who say that it's not a very good idea, that INEC would have a time window, like a limited time, during which people can either register to get new PVCs or update their information on the PVC database. Yes, and their argument is that we can make it a working system, the way you can walk into the immigration office or the FRSC office. I mean, just get your license or your international passport or even national ID card. Can we not run our CVR system in such a way too?
All right, thanks very much. It is continuous voters registration.
Right.
I'm not too schooled in English, but what do you mean continuous? That is a process, it is running. But this time around now, the process is kinked, in the sense that there are a lot of breaks, in the process. So no longer continuous. The case whereby they will just tell the community is still related coming up, let's say 3 months time, you have just 2 weeks for you to come and register. We are disenfranchising a lot of persons who before the election, maybe a few days to a few weeks to the election, must have clocked the age of 18 that will make them eligible to go and do the voting. It's just that, like what we experienced recently in the last CVR, that my organization took part in monitoring and also canvassing everybody come out to vote. We need to see what these politicians did. I don't want to mention names or parties or mention it on individuals. They hijacked, so to say, these machines that were used to capture data of prospective, voters. They were now the ones selecting areas to go to where the machines will be mounted. That is not acceptable at all. But if it is continued, for example, in this Southwest where I stay, you go to the INEC office tomorrow, maybe on Monday. This time I want to go and get my PVC. I want to go and register. That will be fine and good. But in the case whereby you give a very tight window, and let's not forget there are a lot of funny inconveniences, logistics that surround the movement of those machines. How will people eventually be able to get access for them to register? In a particular ward where I went to go and monitor, they just said that, sorry, if you're not of our party, you cannot go and you cannot register with us. Which is very sad on people. And INEC is not even doing required. I don't know, at times we make recommendations to INEC, but they select the ones they do. It's on record that this issue of sustaining voters registration has long been canvassed among those of civil society to go to INEC that please You guys should do this. By the end of the day, nothing changes. It is what they just want to do that they go ahead to do. So for me, I believe that the process is not helpful enough. That's why a lot of persons are not interested. You might even go to the polling authority, to the INEC office now, where you are ready, where they are to register person, and the crowd there will be terrible. At times they will tell that the battery has run down. At times they will tell that there is this party that brought money to buy fuel to power the generator that ran that is going to run the system. Is that how it should be in a system that is going to be functional? So these are some of the funny challenges that INEC consciously creates in a way that also tell people Nigerians that we don't they don't value, but I'm still very hopeful that the patriotic Nigerian will begin to get it right. Let them make it open. We can decide to say that 2 or 3 weeks to the election, they will stop registration. That will be fine and good. But however, those of them that even registered a long time ago, how many of them have been able to, how many persons has INEC issued the permanent voters card to? The number is very significant. You go to INEC offices now, you see a lot of unclaimed PVCs, unclaimed thousands lying there. The question is, how were these individuals captured? You go to confirm what I said before that many times they just carry their machine and go to any area to and just begin to be registering individuals. So I believe that it's not a matter of just conduct voter registration alone, but they try to put in place a mechanism how people can get their voters card. Let's not forget, at the point of registering for the PVC, they normally ask for your phone number. They ask your phone number. The question is, if you have a lot of cards in your unclaimed cards in your office, why can't you just look for the numbers of the owners of this card and reach out to them? But nobody wants to make effort. It's not when time for an election, the protest will come to INEC offices at different levels. They find, please, I need this card. They are my people. I've gotten across the gift. Let's not go and let me see how I can help you to share. This is not acceptable at all.
All right, interesting. At this point in time, I think it's only natural that we should ask ourselves, what exactly are the things or processes that we missed since 1999 that have led to where we are today? Because back in the day, in 1999, for example, blessed memory, Honorable Justice Ephraim Akpata was INEC chairman. And people said, well, even though that election by some estimation was flawed in certain aspects, but they didn't have much of an issue with it. After all, we're just coming from the days of the military. And then Nigerians did say, for the most part, that subsequent elections will improve and the improvement will be incremental. Today, we don't have the military anymore. Democracy has been here for 26 years. What exactly are we missing? Must we continue to blame the anomalies on politicians?
Okay, thank you very much. When you say that we do not have the military anymore, we need to define what you mean by having the military anymore.
No, in the sense that we can't say...
I'm landing, I'm going somewhere. What is happening at Kano is that some individuals just transforming from khaki uniform to begin to wear agbada, and some individuals who are supposed to be civilian and having those tendencies of the military. That is.
It appears.
Hello.
Yes, Bowman's, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. We can hear you all right.
Yes. So that's why a government can just decide at any time to make some policies that are not friendly. Yes, coming back to your question properly. In 1999, yes, there were flaws, right? But at the end of the day, Nigeria saw the genuinity of the leadership of INEC then to ensure that we get things right. Let's not forget, our population there was not as much as it is now. Right? We saw the genuinity in there and we expected that things will improve. Let's not forget the challenges we had in the era of the transition from what's it called now? Obasanjo to late Methodist in peace, Yar'Adua. There's a lot of flaws.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you all right.
Hello? Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm having some local interference.
Right.
So, 2015 was more or less the climax.
Okay, I hope we'll still have Dr. Obasomi online with us. He says he's having some local interference, but he was trying to go down memory lane. Yes, Dr. Obasomi, we can hear you all right. Please just go ahead and make a point.
Sorry, the call I just got is somebody listening, watching the film, and they said, we thank God for that. So, there were indications that we're gradually getting it right. But in Nigeria, we are unable to manage progress and growth. Let's not forget the era of President Jonathan, right? Nigeria was described as the fast-growing economy in Africa, the largest economy in Africa. What happened thereafter? They were able to manage it. South Africa and other countries now came over and took over the space. Now we are struggling, no thanks to the depreciation of our currency. So at that time, we thought we were gradually getting it right. But the dynamics begin to change after the 2015 election, prior to the 2019 election. In 2019, we thought that things would get better. But rather, it did not. It was rather going down the drain. And the question I'm going to ask, how did we begin to get it right? Yes. People just felt that even those voted into power were unable to do the needful, and INEC itself then was not claimed to be independent, but instead was very dependent on those in power. That is why, in a particular, in some areas now, even before the election, so people just say, "No, now this man will win, this one will not," and it comes out like that. There are now issue that led to this level of failure that was expressed. That to do with the issue of internal democracy within the various political parties. In 1999, the various parties were on board, SDP and others now. There was a lot of commitment. You can see this issue of people pledge allegiance to their political party. You can see them say that, so this is my leader. But what transpired after that, particularly for 2015, was that once someone is elected the council chairman of a particular local government council, automatically he becomes the leader of the party, which was not obtainable before. So at that time too now, people were getting involved, and that level of the campaign was not there between 1999 and 2015. That was not as pronounced as it is today. That today you see in the morning you see somebody wearing a cap of party A, in the afternoon has gone to party B, at night when they're about to sleep, he has gone to party C. That was not there, at all. At that time, people were hoping that things would get better. People came out to vote. Then there was violence. Let's not rule that out. A lot of violence occurred between that 1999, 2015, maybe 2019. A lot of violence. But however, the value more or less created by, I would like to say, the so-called politicians who believe that young persons should be used to cause near. And they tell young persons, because most of the time that the young ones actually involved. But various campaigns after that, I've been telling Nigeria that, sorry, your life is not worth that of a politician. We are not worth dying for a politician who may not even come and visit your family when one goes ahead to pass on. There are major issues where we fail to know that we have not been able to look at various reports. Like in our situation room, most of our lectures we do, we observe. We said close to about 2,000-3,000 observers across the country. And at the end of it all, we come up with detailed reports on what INEC needs to do. But it's very sad to know that most of what these reports are just more or less carrying the shares of INEC. But thank God gradually they started doing some of them to see how they can, begin to implement, some of them. So I mean that these are some of the major issues that have been leading to people not having confidence in the system, and the electoral umpires too are not in their own way gone ahead to help us. The 2022 election is one of those instances that made Nigeria to feel that, sorry, my vote does not, count at all. So these are some of the issues I just feel that led us to this particular position. Not undermining the issue of marginalized groups who are also, complaining, territorial officers, and failure of INEC to do the right and they keep giving us excuses irrespective of the billions of naira that are usually given out to INEC. But however, we believe that for us to go back to the 1999 era, government should deploy the required fund, give the right funding at the right time, and set out checklist for INEC to be able to deliver. But in the case where you don't give them funds, whatever they like, just God wants is that on so they conduct an election and give us the result. And if they're not satisfied, the courts are there. Finally, too, sir, the role of the judiciary too is also a major issue we need to look at. Because due respect to the learned friends, learned brothers, learned sisters, they have not been helping matters at all. That's why you see conflicting decisions from various courts on the same, issue.
I'm sure you are aware, Dr. Basumi, that a new proposal, legislative proposal that is before the Senate now in light of the 2022 Electoral Act. The idea is to review it, and then hopefully, if all goes well, we will eventually have the 2025 amended version of the Electoral Act. One of the issues we hear that legislators are pushing for is for INEC to take 100% responsibility for outcomes of our elections. Now, how valid is that argument? Because there's supposed to also be some sort of interagency collaboration. Can we pin the entire blame on INEC, for example, if things go south with an election? All right, that's on one. On the other hand, what are some other issues you think must be brought to the fore in light of this review of the Electoral Act?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I commend the National Assembly for saying that INEC should take 100% responsibility. Very fine and good, but in the course of the appointment or the selection process to appoint the INEC chairman, do Nigerians have 100% involvement or control or influence in the process? The answer is typically no, we don't have. The last screening that brought this current INEC chairman, people ask for transparency in terms of those that were shortlisted, screening procedures, and many more. Up to today, that question has not been answered. So to me, you cannot give somebody freedom and use a very strong rope to tie the waist of the person. Sorry, I'll give you freedom. You are independent. Just go. As it makes effort, you use your string that you are used to tie it, but to drawing back. That is the issue of INEC. That is why we are saying that there should be an independent commission made up of, seasoned lawyers, so to say, political parties and other strategic stakeholders coming together to form a council to appoint the INEC chairman. In a situation, the INEC chairman and other major portfolios within INEC, in a situation whereby it is the work of the president, it is the task of the president to appoint the INEC chairman, I don't think that will go well for us moving forward as a nation. The stakeholders involved, the actors in politics, to be the one deciding who they want to lead them to help them to manage the election. So there might be issues, but when issues come up, there will be a better template of how to resolve them. Then on the proposed reform, the fundamental has to do with this issue of strengthening the legal and institutional framework of INEC, particularly in the areas of interagency coordination and mechanisms. Recall, prior to election, that different sub-units of INEC that was some talking about working with the police, the civil society, religious leaders, and what have you. What's the level of coordination? We have seen severally, maybe on the field, whereby some agencies will say, sorry, that was not part of my mandate. Mine is just to come and ensure that this and that is done. So you have to think about that to ensure that in the policy now, there's clear-cut definition in terms of how we can have proper interagency, relationship. And another point we want that reform to also consider has to do with this issue of the deployment of technology and election logistics. We are tired of hearing that the network has failed. We are tired of hearing that because it's raining in a particular area, my truck could not get it. We are tired that the safety officers who are supposed to man social polling unit or what have you were not available. We are tired of hearing that the National Road Transport workers deployed to us vehicles that could not move to the next pole. Nigerians are tired of that. So there must be that policy must think of a way of addressing improvement technology and that issue area of election logistics. Let's not forget the issue of promoting internal democracy. It's very critical, and I'm personally convinced that once you are elected under a political party, and tomorrow you decide to decamp or recamp or whichever, you lose your seat, because the basis for voting to office was on the party and not Jude Obasanjo. So today, Jude Obasanjo, who was elected a particular party, now decide to decamp. Immediately, I should leave that seat for the party that was voted into office to appoint somebody. So I believe that when we're able to look closely at this issue of internal democracy, that will be a good thing in the document being proposed. And again, to this issue of promoting what they call, enhancing voter education and civic engagement. We're in a world whereby technology has made the whole world to be a small village. INEC should begin, that document should put in place a mechanism that will continuously promote, civic education, voter education, and many more, in line with, in line with the mandate of the various political parties in terms of civic engagement now for the party. Let's say the party is going out. If you have the privilege to attend rallies, political rallies, what will they go there to see? There is no engagement. They just go there, there's funfair, they bring out drum, they share food, they share drink, they just come, I will do this, I will do that. Nobody trusts them, so there's no engagement. So let us have how we can begin to engage. And also, that element of campaign financing. We need to know where these guys get their funds from. INEC should be able to do that. It's on record that INEC is expected to track campaign finances, but that is not being, done at all. So finally, I am of the opinion that a document you put in place, a model to ensure proper transparency and inclusiveness, real-time reporting of results, allowing diaspora to be involved in the voting, gender responsiveness to the election. We get everybody must be involved in the process. When that is done, in that document, I think it will help us a little, because definitely there's no law that is perfect. There's always room for improvement. So when that is done by them and they're not being selfish, that will be fine and good. But I want to appeal, let them also include there that once you decamp today, as you are not send your resignation letter, you are losing your seat. And we allow the party to now elect somebody who can go and represent the party and front their political ideology.
Okay, let's just one more question before we're done. Let's talk about the roles of political parties, because in computer science they say garbage in, garbage out. Most times there are those political pundits who believe that the issues we have in society, in the larger Nigerian society, actually emanate from inside political parties, from the way the leadership of these parties conduct themselves to the way they also conduct their primary elections and all of that. So on the one hand, the role of these political parties, on the other hand, members of the public, the voting public as well, everybody we understand must put their hands on the deck to strengthen democracy and continue to be, to keep guard of governance. So let's talk about those roles quickly.
Okay, thank you very much. You see, politicians, parties are more or less a crop of individuals coming together to see how they can mobilize the people to support their political ideology, to mobilize the people to see how they can be part of their party, either card-carrying members or just, maybe those that only vote for them at the point of election. The political parties fundamentally have not been able to ensure that the people, the larger mass of their members, have a stake in the party. And when I was growing up then, they used to talk about party cards. They have party cards then in the days of UPN and MP. I remember my late father then used to talk of they are going for party meeting. I have to pay my dues. Now, do they have a comprehensive list of party members? The answer is no. Do party members, even that list that they have, do they pay their dues? The answer is no. Do they call regular meetings of political party members to discuss how the party will move on? The answer is no. They only call them maybe if an election is coming up, let's gather. Mr. Want to this candidate, this aspirant want to come and visit us. They come, the guy drops some thousands or millions depending on the position he's vying for, and then they share it. So political party members are now see party involvement to be case of they just call us, we come and share. So I believe that political parties now try to have they can now profile their member and do that issue of conscientizing their member and see how they can also get other people to join them. Because in other developed plans, right, you can just say that the particular party A that I want to call Obasanjo family, you know that party from that generation belongs to party A. Right. But in Nigeria, the issue is not that we don't transit knowledge in terms of political involvement to our generation. Everybody have to go there to go and all. Another thing you need to look at that to do with issue of recruitment, recruitment and training process of our political leaders. Is there a process? Is there a good process of recruiting? If there is, do we train our political leaders? You cannot just assume that because you are doing well in business, because you are doing well in academic, automatically you can transit to become a good political leader. That structure is not there. Even though it's not some parties that say they call them youth leader, woman leader. What do they do? The woman leader, how effective is that woman leader in the operation of the political party? The youth leader now in the political party, what is your role? How effective are you? Apart from time for election, they give them some money, give them some weapon, go to the field, do this and do that. It's not there at all. So, and again, too, now, another point we just have to critically, hello?
I can hear you, Dr. Obasanjo. Go ahead.
Another point we have to critically look at has to do with this issue of funding of political parties. One man should not be allowed to fund a political party. Now, I will learn that over 18 and 180 individuals or groups are coming together and they want to come and form their own political party. In the case where political parties allow from individuals to drive the process based on their form of connection will not help us. That is why today somebody can just decamp and the members are left alone to go and find who they are going to align with, which is not proper at all. Then again, to now political parties should try to see how they can have manifestos and campaign promises that are not all that are different from other in terms of methodology of implementation of these plans and programs, although things contain their manifesto. Recall that it's virtually the same thing. I will build road, I will build schools, I will do that, it's the same thing for party A and party B. But when it is structural, how do I put it now, framework, to say fine, by the time we come into office, this is what this party A, this is what we are going to do in terms of education. We find that good. It's on record in the era of UPM. UPM was noted for free education all over. UPM, that was their slogan, free education. Today, if you mention party A, the PDP, the APC, the Labour, what have you now, can we pinpoint to one issue that is their cardinal drive or focus, that when we come into party, this is what you are going to do? All of them talk about you are going to ensure that hunger in the land stops, whereas there is no process put in place to see how people will be secured to go to their farmland to go ahead, to farm. So these are some of the things I feel that political parties should do, to ensure that more people join their party. And again, the people too, we should deviate us another area of just joining political party just based on what you can get, what is normally called as stomach infrastructure. We are past that level. Nobody is saying that you cannot benefit from your political party, but please try to see how you can be a stakeholder in the political parties. Try to be how you can be a leader, and try to see how we can work together to have national unity and a stable country.
All right, I think this is a fine place to leave this conversation so far. I've been talking with Dr. Jude Obasomi. He's the Chief Responsibility Officer of Jose Maria Escrivá Foundation. Thank you so very much, Doc, for taking our time to join us on the show this morning.
It's always a pleasure. Good morning.
All right, let's take a break, everyone. When we return, it'll be time to talk more on the show. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
Bishop Rabioye will say.
This is Global Morning.
right, a lot to say about Nigeria's electoral process, and that conversation is even more salient now, given that there's a new sheriff in town, so to speak, in the person of Professor Josh Amupiton, who is now, as we know, it's the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. But elections are also very pivotal, given that they help to not only produce leaders politically, but help to determine who becomes, who goes where, who gets what in terms of the political leadership of Nigeria. And speaking about leadership, that's what many people have come to agree that is the challenge in this country. They say Nigeria does not lack laws. Nigeria does not lack those who want to go into the political space, whether as appointees or elected officers. But the challenge is there's so much of, there's far less leadership than you have those who are supposed to be leading as it stands today. We've seen people say that about governors, we've seen people say that about presidents, we've seen people say that about even members of the National Assembly and across the state houses of assembly. And then it makes you wonder, what exactly is the motivation for Priscilla Abbas is saying, for example, she wants to represent a constituency at the House of Representatives, or that she wants to represent a constituency at the State House of Assembly? Is it because she feels it's her turn? Is it because she feels it's the turn for a local government or a community to produce a leader in that role? Or is it because she feels there's a need that serves the larger interest of the people that is driving her to want to vie for that office? It's quite an interesting conversation, right?
It now looks as if it's because of the national cake. Everybody wants to have a part of the national cake.
It never gets finished.
Of course. The thing is, right now, it looks like, if you want to be successful in Nigeria, you have to be a politician, which shouldn't be. I mean, we should be able to excel in every other aspect of the economy.
Away from politics.
Be you a businessman, be whatever career you choose to pursue. But right now, you cannot seem to have a big breakthrough ordinarily in Nigeria if you are not attached to one political position or the other. And I feel like that's the motivation for lots of people going into politics, which sadly shouldn't be so. But I mean, it is really sad. Funny enough, those that go to schools, universities to study political science, they used to say that. They're working in, but they used to say that if your father don't get political office, if your father is not a politician, why do you go to school to study? So the course itself in the university has been watered down. It looks like it's useless, except you have some kind of connection somewhere. Right. It's actually sad. It is. The motivation, leadership, and the standards are actually so low in Nigeria, in this part of the world.
We have dropped the bar.
We dropped the bar. We don't have. There's no governor right now. Well, maybe there is for some people, but there's a standard that we are not meeting, and I feel like we are still far away from it because. When we hail these politicians, we hail them for funny reasons. You want to follow them because you want some favor or the other. You're not even looking at them. We are not holding them accountable. Accountability is even totally out of the picture right now. We only have few people coming out, to demand accountability for those set of persons. But funny enough, if those people that are actually speaking up for the truth that they say, if they still get to meet these people one-on-one, somehow they still compromise. That is the situation. So poverty is like a driving force, or is like a tool right now in the hands of these politicians. When they know that you don't have it, you don't have your truth. You cannot even you don't have any. You can't even hold them. You can't say anything wrong about them because they are your food. They are your paymasters, right? So it's that bad. It is that bad. And if you want to get it politically in this country, if we want to be able to hold leaders accountable in this country, then we need to make other sectors of the economy function properly.
Right.
Yeah, it needs to come alive. You need to go. I should be able to go into such a particular career because I know that I have a future in it, and it actually has, it can actually excel. I will excel in it. I don't have to dent my hands. With my hard work, it will speak. I don't have to compromise until we get it in every other sector in this country. I mean, we might just be. We might just be deceiving ourselves saying that democracy, is coming alive, even if I feel like it is, but we are still far away from it because of the hunger in the land, poverty in the land. It's still a tool in the hands of these politicians and leaders.
It's quite interesting, Priscilla, because we live in a country where, for example, somebody has a skill, or what my mom would call handiwork, all right, and people are still telling them, you're doing very well. I mean, your work is amazing. you're scaling. But if you really want to hit it big, you've got to know a politician.
Yes.
You've got to know somebody in politics. You've got to know somebody yes, in the corridors of power and things like that. So everybody now wants to become a politician. Everybody's running to Abuja. Everybody's looking for a politician to align with. Everybody's looking out for the next election cycle to see how they can take advantage. And then it brings to even the issue of civil society, right? When I was a much younger boy growing up, if someone was a civil society person, they were in a different class. Of course, they were not flamboyant. They were as austere, as down to earth as possible. What more? They were always holding government accountable at all levels. Of course, they didn't have to be rude. They didn't have to be crass. They didn't have to use unprintable terms. But they had the mechanism. They had the conviction. They had the character. They had the track record to hold government accountable. As a matter of fact, the politically exposed people were afraid of them because they knew one misstep would mean these people calling them out. But today, it's a seems there's a blur between civil society groups and politicians. You just have maybe a handful of civil society entities that you can say, well, these guys have consistently done such work that you can say serves the overall interest of the public. Otherwise, what you see is a bunch of civil society groups that align with political parties, with political figures, with even, in some cases, they align with those who are seen as not working in the interest of the country. You're now asking yourself, at what point did we miss it? Is it again something we can blame on the erosion of our values? Because that again is a conversation in itself. People say that it's because values are fast eroding. That's why we're having this kind of situation and things like that. But another thing we blame most times is the kind of system we operate in terms of the legal system, all right? The rule of law. The rule of law simply means that nobody is above the law, from the president to the least person. Even though we know, yes, the president and the governors have immunity, but once they leave office, we can circle back to their times in office, how they serve, and then, look at their stewardship, and then also hold them accountable in that regard. In a system where internet fraudsters, the ones popularly known as Yahoo Boys, are convicted almost on a daily basis, and the FCC gives us the numbers every now and then, why are we not also seeing a preponderance of conviction of politically exposed people, whether they're former governors, former senators, former House of Reps members, or even those at the state level? The interesting thing is, legislators don't even have immunity, so you can't say we are waiting for them to complete their tenure in office before we invite them or get to be committed to their cases. In any case, civil governors, for example, despite the fact that they have immunity, who says you can't investigate them and have overwhelming evidence ready, just in case, when they leave office, you can also hold them accountable based on such evidence. But what we always find is that it appears what the FCC or the other anti-corruption agencies usually have will just be more like, at best, scratching the surface, and then the man finishes his term as governor, you invite him over. It appears the evidence is not convincing enough. Yes, all right. So you can't see the light of day or can't hold water. The next thing you do is the man gets administrative bill, or it goes to court, he gets bail, and then the case starts dragging and dragging. As expected, of course, Nigerians cannot spend their entire life waiting to see how one case will turn out. Some cases started since 2003, some since 2007. 2 decades and counting down the line, those cases are still pending before the EFCC.
I have not even heard whether it's been resolved.
Exactly.
Just
no closure. The cases are just there, and those people who are the protagonists, so to say, in these cases, are busy, running for offices and winning as senators and what have you, and Nigeria continues to bleed. Exactly. The system is corrupt. You can say that again. But that is, where we find ourselves. What do? We do not know. We must find a way to know. Some people have said that young people have to come into office. We need to have more young people in office. But again, you're asking yourself, is this about age or about competence, capacity, and then love for country? Because that's another thing missing. Patriotism. These days we don't hear of that. I would think the older ones are even more patriotic. I think the older ones are even, they seem to have, the older ones you can find more decent, because the younger generation, I don't know, it looks like we're learning from
did I say the worst?
We're understudying.
We're understudying, and what we have accepted as a norm, I mean, it's very ridiculous. If you see what a young person would say, okay, this is, there's no discipline whatsoever. You cannot even stay, and learn a skill for, as long as you should. There's no patience whatsoever. So if we say these young ones should come and, take over, what are we actually, what are they going to, what are they representing? What are they bringing to the table, like they say? So it is not an issue of young or old. I mean, it is not even an issue of young or old at this point.
So age is not the issue?
Age is not even the issue. The system is broken, and I don't know. I think it takes just the very few, to fix it. It will take just the few available, whether young or old, to join hands together to make it work. It is not an issue of those old ones versus young ones. No, it's the well-meaning Nigerians, regardless of their age, regardless of whatever it is, that would stand their grounds right now and make it work and actually speak, lend their voices. That is just what I have to say.
It's interesting. Well, let's see how we can, who knows, maybe in the years ahead, explore transgenerational leadership model and see if that works, more like a combination of the older generation and this upcoming one. But then you're asking yourself, if you're going to lead today as a young person, by young person, let's be looking at 25, 40, for instance, what have you built the last 10, 15 years that will become a solid basis for you to be considered for leadership at any level, in whatever role, all right? If you're, say, between 18 and 25, all right, what have you built the last 5 to 10 years that we can say, or what will you build the next 10?
Exactly.
Yes, that we've already started doing now.
Yes.
That we can look at and say there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
That we can look at and say this is promising. If we give it another 10 years, it's going to, as it were, come to fruition in such a way that you can use it as a basis for leadership. Those are the issues that we should be looking at going forward beyond age. I'm sure that's also the point that Priscilla is trying to make. Exactly. We're taking a quick break. When we return, the show continues.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
The issue of values in society have also been very concerning, especially at the turn of the 21st century. Some people say it's technology, others argue that it's Western culture that has, influenced us, has permeated our own organic traditions here in Africa and, of course, indeed, Nigeria. There are those who vehemently believe that if the internet had not come to Africa, would be in a much better place. After all, we're living our lives happily. We didn't have all of these both things, so to speak, technology, gadgets, and what have you. But for others, the issue of internet and overall technology are more like a double-edged sword. So it depends on which side you want to use. Both sides cuts, all right? But it depends on which of them you want to use and how you want to cut, what you want to cut, and things like that. We've seen how technology has driven businesses across the world, small, micro, medium, large, corporations. We've seen that happen. We've seen how technology has made family connect and reconnect time and again. I remember back in the day without internet, without GSM, when all you had was basically a landline, which was not in every home, was not in most homes in Nigeria. You would have to just travel blindly from one end of the country to the other, only to get there and they tell you the person traveled yesterday evening and then you're stranded. You couldn't call before going. And even while there, you are not able to call the person to say, I just got to your place now and I was told you are out for a few days and things like that. But we've seen that technology has made life easier on many fronts, even on the work front. I mean, look at what technology has done to broadcasting, to journalism, to the media everywhere in the world, for example. But there are those who also say that with the, if you like, proliferation of apps, now I was going to say apps, of apps, you realize that people now have countless options. And those options now give them the excuse or access to doing things that are would have otherwise been considered alien to African traditions.
So when you mentioned apps, and I just wonder why, in Nigeria we're just consumers. Like you said, technology is a double-edged sword. Depends on where you want to cut. So I'm wondering, why is it that in this part of the world we're not tilting towards the producing part of the world, those that are inventors? We just want to consume. When we talk about leadership, just before we came on air, I was telling you how if you go to TikTok, how you see the menace on TikTok is, and you wonder, are this the youth that really are clamoring to take over the country? Are these the youth that want to represent us in leadership? If you see that app, a lot of, valueless things going on there. Why can we not use technology, to take Nigeria to the, to the map of the world, or to make Nigeria represent, in the world at large? Why is it that we are, we always want to be on that side of entertainment? Entertainment is not good. It's not bad. Yeah, it is not bad, but not everyone is an entertainer. What do you have in you? We just want to jump on trends. We want to see whatever it is that makes somebody go viral. Quick, easy way, whatever it is. We just want, I think it's the youth of today, there is no shortcut. I was discussing with a senior friend some time ago, and he was like, you have to get to a certain age. If you work by every standard, if you want to legitimately make money, you calculate your time in life. I know that before money will come to you, you'll be at a certain age in life.
Right.
You know, he was talking about those that, you know, do the whole Yahoo stuff. Like, I cannot see a young guy driving some kind of car and believe that this guy has worked for it. When I speak with you, what do you do? And then I start getting intimidated. No. But we see those guys that, you know, makes it, or that say, so to say, they made it through the back door. And then we get jealous, we get intimidated. Those are what we now build our values around. What has this person done? I want to do it. The person, you want to go to the person and say, show me the way. What are you doing? And then
cut soap for me.
Thank you very much. I bet cut soap for me. Those are the things we make our standards. How do you successfully live towing that path?
Right.
How do you live a fulfilled and a happy life? Because we don't know that behind the scene, you don't know what those people go through. That is what we don't know. But
how their conscience is pounding.
How their conscience is pounding steadily. You don't ask them what are the consequences of your action.
Right.
You just want to know what it is they are doing so that you can also feel among. These are the issues. We as youth, if we say that we are the leaders of tomorrow, if we say we want to make, whatever it is, what we have to do is build upon what those elders have done, you know, pick the right part of it. And those wrong parts, we dish it. We throw it away. But we want to throw everything totally and feel like we want to form our own ways, our values.
We want to invent
it. No, life is, you know, life is a cycle, like they say. It's whatever it is that you want to know. Somebody has gone through it. There is no shortcut. And there are principles, there are laws that makes life work. So you need to study those laws. You need to know what, you know, what I can do to make such a progress, what I can do to have such a result, for you to say, okay, I want to take over this person. Learn from the good side. Pick those, you know, right principles that they have worked with, that has given them whatever it is that they have gotten to. Because hard work is still part of their story, if you ask them. So do not throw away the hard work. Somebody came to me recently. I was like, when he came to, you know, he came to my husband's office, and I was like, I don't want to work for anybody. He just finished school. You know, I said, well, congratulations, you're done with school. Well, what's your next step? The next thing he said was, no, I don't want to work for anybody. I want to make my own money. I want to work online. I'm like, gee, okay, what are you building? How do you want to make this happen?
What's the strategy?
What's the strategy? There was no strategy. I started asking questions. Okay, what do you do? He told me he does this. I started asking questions about what he did. There was no foundation whatsoever. There was no depth whatsoever. There was no history whatsoever. But he just had the mentality, I don't want to work for anybody. That is the mindset we have. That the young ones have. They don't want to work for anybody. They don't have a strategy whatsoever. They don't know what mentorship means whatsoever. They just want to, you know, they feel like they can make it. And that's, you know, in that journey, they stumble into funny ideas, you know, that actually give them some kind of ideologies that eventually might ruin their lives.
You know, I was listening to, two things stuck out for me while you were talking. One is the issue of the fact that there are principles, life's principles. You can't contravene them. You can't circumvent them. You can't outsmart them, no matter your IQ. All right, that's that for principles. The other one is also the issue of hard work. Of course, hard work itself is founded in principle. There must be hard work. Hard work doesn't mean you have to go to Worcester markets and be and be doing all the jobs under the sun. No, hard work just simply means that some things will place a demand on both your mental and physical energy, all right? And you must give that over time. So I was saying a while ago that I got to listen to, just last year, Dr. Asu Ighodalo, all right? One of Nigeria's most accomplished corporate lawyers. He was the governorship candidate of the PDP in the last election in Edo State that held last September. 2 Septembers ago, actually. That was in 2024. But this was before the election. This was even before, I'm sure, he indicated interest in running for election. So Richard Mofe-Damijo was interviewing him, RMD himself a lawyer, and Dr. Ighodalo was sharing about his life, where he's coming from. There were several things he said. A colleague and I were watching, and we were stunned by not just the man's exceptional level of intelligence, but his journey as a professional. He said there was a time as a young lawyer, he would stay in the office for days on end. His wife would bring change of clothes and food for him in the office. Not because he didn't have a home to go to, but he needed to put in that amount of work, right? He was a young lawyer back in the day, but of course, this is somebody who has practiced as a lawyer for well over 3 decades. And he said at the point, he got to realize that there's something called the 10,000 hour principle, right? And he used that principle. Now, what's the principle? I mean, what's about the 10,000 hour principle? It's the principle that if you put in 10,000 hours into a legitimate endeavor consistently, you get the desired results. You would get it. But the question is, like you said, do we have the discipline? Somebody said just a few days ago, I was reading somewhere, and I was reflecting on that this morning on my way to work, that you don't need another motivational speaker. You don't need another motivational talk. You just need discipline.
Yeah.
The last time you listened to a motivational speaker, whether it was nice or not, the question is, what did you do with the lessons that you took away from it? For example, if you attend a session, whether it's motivational session, whatever it is, and the resource person said something about waking up early and planning your day. Now, you attended that a few weeks ago. Between 3 weeks ago, for example, when you attended that session and today, have you been waking up early enough? Have you been planning your day consistently for the last 21 days? Because there's also the principle of the 21-day thing, where if you can do a particular thing or exercise for 21 consecutive days, the chances of that exercise sticking in your system will become higher and reinforced. There is that. So I think what we lack for the most part is the discipline to get things done. And we don't project right. People just want instant noodle approach to things. People just want 2 minutes instant passports. But you don't realize that some things will take time to incubate. Just like businesses, for example. Even if you get a $1 million seed to start a small business in Abuja, you still have to wait a couple of years for that business to be established. All right. So the fact that you have a $1 million grant or seed or whatever it is, which is almost like 1.5 billion today in Nigeria, does not mean you are going to become successful over a 1 week period. So I think these are some of the values we need to continue to teach ourselves, to learn, and also to practice.
I also think that parents need to stop mounting pressure on their children, right? Because a lot of parents do that. You know, you have not been successful. You see your friend's child breaking through, excelling, and you want to come and mount pressure. You don't know what your parent or your friend did. You don't know the principle they used. You don't know the work they had put in that child. You just want that child to produce a result that you have not sown a seed for. And those are the issues. You're putting children on pressure. You are making them do things that they shouldn't do. So it's a patience on all around, both for children and for the parents.
Great. Pressure to perform, very dangerous. Let's not put ourselves or those around us under pressure. That's all we're bringing for you today. Remember that the views of all of our guests are their opinions. I'm Muyi Agmofwegbe, wishing you the best of the weekend ahead.
And I'm Priscilla Obasi, and bye for now.